guys, how's it going? It's Al. DraftKings Week 10 kicks off tomorrow. And so I've got 5 players that I think are players that you should be looking at, players you've got to play in tournaments. Not necessarily these 5 players, but this is the way that you need to think. Here are 5 that I've identified for the NFL DFS slate in Week 10 who are going to be underplayed and have a massive ceiling to help you win tournaments on DraftKings this week. So take a couple of seconds, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and if you would be so kind, share the link with a friend of yours. Let them know about the channel so that they can get a little bit of fun out of DraftKings this week too. Thank you guys for being here. Let's go.
He's a legend.
Smiz Gang Listener League is posted. It is the best tournament on DraftKings. $10 to enter, 3 max, 4,500 people. You got to go to smizzle.tv/links if you wanted to get in. It is a no rake tournament. That means they don't charge us any sort of service fee. So thank you to DraftKings, the fine folks over at DraftKings, for putting it up. So if you go to smizzle.tv/links, that will take you here to the link tree. You can go follow me on Twitch. I'll be live on Sunday morning, the last 45 minutes before kickoff. Go drop a follow on the Twitch channel. Follow me on Instagram. Here's the link to the Listener League. That'll take you to that last page. And if you're looking for it, my article on ESPN Plus Best Buys, boom, is right here. You click that link, it takes you there. Everything that you need to know from me, all of my content is through that link tree. So go check out all of that. And let's get to the 5. Number 1 is DALVIN Cook. DALVIN Cook has been doing very, very well recently. He is projecting at about 2% this weekend, averaging 16.2 DraftKings points. We know what his ceiling is, and Buffalo might be in an exploitable position. We will know by the time this video debuts on Saturday morning, but we do not know at the time that I'm recording on Friday to what level Josh Allen is playing. Whether he's going to play, whether he's going to sit. We know that he's got an elbow problem. It could require Tommy John surgery. That doesn't seem great. Their team total has fallen from like 29 to 23, the Buffalo Bills. And the Minnesota Vikings, if Josh Allen is out, is going to be one of the highest played defenses on the slate. And Dalvin Cook may jump, but I don't know that he will because Buffalo still has a really talented defense and people aren't going to be on him. But he flashed big playability. 2 of the last 3 weeks with a 30-yard run and a 53-yard touchdown run. Tons of usage inside the 5-yard line. 5 touchdowns in the last 4 games. I'm buying Dalvin Cook this week at the low percentage because it's not about the play. It's not about the points per dollar. It's about the ceiling versus the percentage of the people that are on it. And that's what you need to be attacking. And you have to tell yourself what story is that possible way that Dalvin Cook has a 25+ point day. We saw it happen a year ago when Jonathan Taylor and the Colts went to Buffalo, and Jonathan Taylor was on this video for 5 under 5, and he went off for like a mountain of points. I'm not saying Dalvin Cook is going to get there, but that's the line of thinking that you have to take. You want to take players that have potential for a really high ceiling game that nobody else is going to be on, either because of the matchup or their price tag. You're going to have to do a little projection here on DeAndre Swift because he really has not played a lot since their bye week in Week 7. He had that injury earlier in the season, 10 opportunities in Week 8, had another 6 opportunities last week, but he looked a lot better. A 20-yard catch. They were utilizing him inside the red zone. One of these weeks, DeAndre Swift is just going to be fine and go back to his normal usage that we saw early in the season before the ankle injury when he was getting 15 to 20 opportunities. Only 6.4K, so he's the same price pivot off of some of the other value plays. This play is very dangerous, under 5%. He's projecting at 1%. Not hard to leverage the field on him if you're building 150 lineups, whether it's for the Millionaire Maker, the mini max games at whatever price point, nickel, 10 cent, 25 cent, whatever, to get like 5 to 10% of DeAndre Swift in your lineups if you have the testicular fortitude to go that route. I understand it's not an easy play to make, but if you believe that this is the week where he is healthy and going to push forward and be able to really excel, you want to be on that train before, because by the time you say, well, I'm going to wait and see, I don't believe it, and then he has that 15 to 20 touch game and then has that 50-yard run that he had each of the first 2 weeks and a 20+ yard reception in those 2 games, that opportunity for him at 1% has gone out the window. So understand what the play is. I understand if you don't want to make it and click it into your lineups. You're the one that's clicking submit. I totally understand if you don't want this one, but note that it is something you should monitor and pay attention to. Maybe do a little more research on exactly what Swift's role is going to be through beat writers and not necessarily exactly what Dan Campbell says. Make sure that you join our Discord community at smizzle.tv/Discord. It's also there in the link tree if you wanted to click through on that. If you are a channel member on YouTube, it's $5 a month, or a Twitch subscriber, which is also $5 a month, You get access to all the VIP rooms in chat. We have some free rooms if you wanted to get there. It's kind of a freemium Discord where like some people hang out in the free channels, but like the majority of the 7,000 people that hang out in our, that are members of our Discord, hang out in those VIP channels and are subbed either on Twitch or here on YouTube. So become a channel member today through smizzle.tv/join, get into the Discord, link your accounts, and have somebody to talk to about daily fantasy, like literally 24 hours a day, with the amazing community that we've built over the last 6 years in our Discord channel. Our next play is going to be Justin Jefferson, right at the 5% mark, so I get to use him. 13 targets last week, and look, this is a roster build play. The way that things are shaking out this week, there's never any value at wide receiver. I talked at length about this on the Lineup Builder show on Friday. If you've not watched that, go check it out. Like that's the show where I can get really long form and dig deep, do deep dives into the way roster construction gets built. One of my favorite shows of the week. But the way that DraftKings is pricing wide receivers is forcing people onto the value running backs between like 5,500 and 7K. And the value wide receivers are like 4,200 to like 6K. And it doesn't allow you to go after high priced running backs or high priced wide receivers because people are flocking to the high priced running backs this week, with Saquon Barkley going up against Houston and Derrick Henry being, pardon me, and Derrick Henry being Derrick Henry. So if they're paying up for that 8,000 there, or they're paying up at tight end for Travis Kelce, or paying up at quarterback for Patrick Mahomes, you just can't get Justin Jefferson into your lineups at 8,800. We know what his ceiling is. He's averaging 23.6 fantasy points per game, has the possibility of scoring 35 or 40 and completely breaking the slate, and nobody's going to be on him. The same can be said for DeAndre Hopkins, who's coming off of a down week last week, but that really works out in our favor because the price has gone up, coming off of a week where people played him after 2 really solid weeks, and now he goes up against the Rams. Granted, it's a tough matchup, but that is reflected in the projection of his percentage played. He's projecting like 3.5% on the sites that I've looked at. All of them are one at 4, one at 2.6, and another one at like 4. So like averaging those out, like look at where his projection is. It's not going to be highly held. Even if he gets pumped up this weekend and jumps up to like 6, 7, 8%, you're still leveraging the field with like 15% Hopkins. Bring it back with somebody on the Rams to get a little bit of differentiation in your lineups. 2 touchdowns through 3 games. So even that disappointing target output from him last week after 13 and 14 targets in week 7 and 8, he did get himself into the end zone. Maybe Kyler can do some things for us here. Usually I go with a third wide receiver because there's not always that much leverage to be had at tight end, but I'm going to go with TJ Hockenson on the Minnesota Vikings. Also in that same situation that nobody's going to pay. He's in like salary purgatory because of the way people are spending at tight end this week. People are going to pay all the way up to go get Travis Kelce because he's great, right? Or people are going to pay for 3,400 and down because that's the only way that they're able to make lineups work that they like. So going with TJ Hockenson, who in his first game, like he did the amazing thing of reading the playbook on the plane on the way to Minnesota. Who knew that you were allowed to read on planes? It's a fabulous breakthrough in football technology. Ended up playing a ton of snaps, running a mountain of routes and logging 10 targets. There is not a viable secondary guy to Justin Jefferson right now on Minnesota because Thielen is looking really old, not getting the separation that he used to get, and not getting loose in the end zone to rack up touchdowns. KJ Osborne kind of looks like just a guy, and they don't really utilize their running backs as much as they did before. I know I got 3 Vikings on this slate. So what? This is where the value is this week in terms of ownership in tournaments. So pick one or stack this team coming back with somebody on the Bills. Whether Josh Allen is in or out, this is where nobody's going. And I want to fill that vacated space. So TJ Hockenson, we know, has an ability to get us a ceiling as he scored 43 fantasy points in week 4. I'm not projecting 40 plus fantasy points, but the probability that if he gets anywhere close to 9 targets, that he can get you that 20, 25 plus point day on DraftKings, which is a major separator at the tight end position, puts you in a much better spot to win tournaments at a very awkward price point of $5,300. So thank you guys for watching. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.